people are chasing numbers. They're chasing the algorithm. There are comics doing, a minute of crowd work specifically to get 1 million hits. To do what? So what we once got into for freedom, as comics, where we could sort of dictate, what we do and how we do it and our point of view and learn how to do it and build a voice and everything. Now people are just total whores to the algorithm and only chasing these clicks with no craft, no sense of originality, because all they care about is this immediate sense of relevance you get from filling a room to watch you talk to people in the audience. So,
but I'm not as judgmental as you, even though I'm a judge on AGT.
Maybe you should be less neurotic. Maybe not.
My neurosis is much more interior than exterior. But what I'm saying is, I'm not judging the fact that somebody does a minute of crowd work. That's good. If you do that, and you're doing it to get 1 million clicks, and it blows up, and for some reason, this is where my curiosity and fear and neurosis come. I'm not communicating the way people communicate. The culture is flowing, and I have this need to flow along with that.
Yeah, but that's fucking crazy.
Is it?
I think so.
Why?
I don't know how it makes you more. It doesn't make you, because you don't have any reason to chase anything. It's not flowing.
It's fun. It's like a sport. It's like a game. It's a challenge.
All right, well, I get that. So I have a different point of view.
We do.
Of what it means to do something special.
As somebody who is neurotic, as somebody who deals with panic, you made a choice. You didn't have to. You're a very smart, intelligent. You were a smart, intelligent young man. Now you're a smart, intelligent, middle-aged guy.
Right.
You could have probably provided for yourself in many other ways.
Doubt it. But okay, I doubt it.
Really?
Yeah, I was pretty hobbled. Yeah, I was not in terms of mentally and otherwise. I don't know that there was another path for me that I could see. But I appreciate it.
But I'm saying you put yourself in the position of standing in front of strangers and
That's
being
right.
and being judged. The public. Most people believe that the two hardest things in the world are public speaking and standing there in front of. So you put yourself in a really tough position.
Yeah.
You didn't have to. Why did you?
Well, there's a lot of reasons for that. I think, there's psychological reasons. There, like for me, why did I do stand up? But just to get back to the other point real quick, is that
the same point? Go ahead.
No, we can connect it, but I don't want to sound like I'm just some old man screaming at the sky. I believe, in the craft and the art, if you want to call it that, of stand-up. It's what I've done my whole life.
Right.
And there are stand-ups in my life and specials in my life that made a profound impact, because the people that were doing it were at such a level that they brought something new and interesting and entertaining and resonated with me for a lifetime. And I think there is a way to do it. I believe that there is, and maybe I'm old school, but I believe that, if you're putting clips up and you're 2 years in, why are you doing that to yourself? You don't even know who you are yet.
Because that's the path now.
Yeah, but that's not the path of stand-up. It's not
anymore.
Fine, but that's not the way I see it, and I can be critical of that. There's some guys that still do it the real way, and they're spectacular. Bargatze does real shit, no crowd work, solid fucking hour 10s, every year or two, and and he believes in the craft as it was laid out to me. That you build your personality, and then you build your hours, and you make new hours, and you do something interesting, and and hold your voice, and kind of elevate whatever you're trying to do. I understand that business is different, but what is great is still great.
In your opinion, what is great is still great. What I'm saying is, if you, I think I used this as an example yesterday to somebody. If you use the example of Dennis Miller, who became a kind of a monologist, where he was, our vocabulary was like his prop.
It was funny. I had a guy, Chris Kelly, his dad. He was an old writer for the National Lampoon. Chris Kelly's a writer. He used to write for Mar, and then his dad. I'm forgetting his first name, but I met his dad once, and we were talking about Dennis, and I brought up Dennis's name, and he goes, Dennis Miller, fearlessly attacking trivia.
But he did. But there's people that listened to that and watched that and thought, oh my gosh, this is brilliant. It's smart.
Yeah.
It's intelligent.
Yeah.
It's entertaining.
Yeah.
He does put an incredible amount of work into that. Then there's the people that see Carrot Top, who I respect.
Yeah, I get it.
And
Okay.
So, but I mean, that's two different ends of the spectrum.
Yes.
And that is a craft, and there's as much
That's
goes
right.
into writing and engineering,
That's right.
whatever that prop is.
I'm agreeing
By the
with you.
same token, and I'll say it, Matt Rife, who I don't know his act per se.
Doesn't have one.
I don't know that. I've heard you say that.
Crowd work guy.
But it was really compelling. I mean, the one that blew up. I remember the first time I saw him, and there was that girl who had a breast job and made him cookies, and her daughter was on the phone. That was legitimately really funny. He posted it. I don't think he posted. He didn't know. He tells the story about he was up at JFL. His friend got on JFL, and he didn't get on.
I get your point. Yeah.
But who are we to say that? To have the wherewithal to stand there and to be able to carry on a charming in the moment.
I get what you're saying.
Okay.
I expect more out of stand-up. So, you can lower your bar and live in that and accept all that. And that's fine with me. I don't care. But to tell me that, who am I to judge? I'm me to judge. Now, if you want to, exist and watch stand-up be watered down to any moron that can talk to a room full of morons, that's fine. I mean, I think everybody should be able to. I mean, I think crowd work's an important tool, usually for crowd management. You should know how to do it in case shit goes down in the room. But, a fairly clever teenager can do crowd work. I did it in high school. Fine. But for me, that's, and I'm not even judging Matt. I understand what you're saying.
Because Matt is here, and I think he's your brother. Come on in.
People want me to talk to him. The people feel like that I'm being hard on him. I'm not really. I understand what crowd work is. And I've seen it a long time. There were guys when we were coming up that only did crowd work.
My first HBO special, I did crowd work, and I did my act, and I did crowd work.
It's fun. Jimmy Brogan, remember? All crowd work.
Right.
What was the other guy? Remember the area code guy? He's dead now.
Mitchell Walters.
Mitchell Walters. All crowd work. I mean, it's not. It's been around. Okay, there's all kinds of comedy. Like you said, Carrot Top, Dennis Miller. I got no problem. Professionals are professionals. Matt's a professional. But you asked me why I got into it, is that I felt when I was younger, and I'd done a lot of different stuff. I'd written stuff. I'd acted in plays. I did photography. I was always looking for a way to express myself. But because I was such a fan of comedy when I was growing up, for a very specific reason. When I watched comics when I was a kid, whether it was Don Rickles or Buddy Hackett, Jay Leno when he was younger, listening to Richard Pryor records, I found that the miracle of comedy was they made the world manageable, that they can take big ideas and bring them into a place where I understood them, I laughed at them, they could disarm fears, they could elevate your perception of things. They had a power through humor to make you see the world differently. And that to me was an amazing, magical thing. So when I got into comedy, it was not to see if I could talk to, it was not to spend the hour going like, how long you two been together? It's just not what, I was doing. What I wanted to do was speak my mind, own the territory, figure out who I was, both as a person and as a comic, and share my thoughts on things that I put together and constructed and I think are mind-blowing. And that's what I did it.
You're doing it.
Right. So I've done this work, and I've spent my life doing it, and I'm operating at the best of my ability at each point. This new special is definitely the best I've ever done. And I've been fortunate to never have become a big star because I can continue plowing away without totally hacking on myself or kind of repeating myself. I do a little bit. But that was my intention. So my judgment about crowd work as a comic is I think it's very funny. I can do it if I want to do it. I can do it if I need to do it. But I do think, if you keep lowering the bar and audiences are expecting you to just talk to them, that's not the comedy that I respect or that I want to do. And I think that, once everything loses its meaning because of this flow you're talking about, that it becomes the mediocrity is just abound, and also things that are great just kind of go away with the flow.